everybody. Welcome. I've got quite a few watchers today. Kind of have an interesting topic, and I know that I've probably stirred the pot just a little bit, but I'm okay with that. I don't mind stirring the pot. I'm actually happy to stir the pot for the sake of truth and for the sake of freedom. So, welcome to the Coach Mail Show. This is Thursday. Let's do Thankful Thursday. And we're going to be talking about General Michael T. Flynn. So, let's get to it. I- First of all, I think this man is a hero, an absolute hero for our country. And am just sickened by the idea that there are patriots right now that are shilling against this man. He has been through enough already because of his service to this country. And we already know that the psyops are real and that they are coming at us from every direction. But it's unfortunate when they're coming at us from inside the patriot movement. Not that this is the first time that this has happened, but I think there is some poor research. I don't know that I would call it research. Some poor allegations that are being made because of lack of proper research. There's also some allegations because of General Flynn's brother being at J6. And couple other guys, I-70. I don't know anything about I-70. I just heard the name, like who's I-70? Don't know. I will research that if I need to. Not really. I don't research, but it doesn't take a researcher to see. Sometimes I think it takes people outside of the research community to go, wait, out here at the 30,000-foot view, I see something different than you. And I think sometimes there is a necessity for both those who are really inside close and those at the 30,000-foot view. All are necessary and needed in this battle. But also something that's super necessary is this right here, is leaning upon God for discernment and wisdom. And if you have wisdom, if you're lacking wisdom, ask of God because he will give it to you. Staying on our knees in prayer, but also, holding on to our sword of the spirit, which is the word of God. It is sharper than any two-edged sword, dividing between spirit and soul. And it will help us with critical thinking and decision making and discernment by the spirit of God. And I think there's a lack of that in the situation with certain groups of folks who are patriots. I'm not going to say that they are not, but I think that there are some folks leading people astray because they have influence. So I'm just going to go there. And I don't care about, nothing shudders me, nothing cowers me down. I don't get chilled. That's a word I learned in this whole Mark Elias, the three alliances that came against me, and they were trying to chill all of Americans' ability to stand up for our First Amendment rights of assembly around drop boxes. And what the deep state wanted to do was to chill uh, us, kind of scare us from doing that. And they didn't win. They didn't win because our First Amendment stood up to that. So let's get into this. Michael T. Flynn is a hero, and we're going to go through some different podcasts and show some little clips of who he actually is. What's going around right now is that he is the reason for J6, and for the folks who have been imprisoned. I've heard some of that. I've heard that he is responsible for and standing up the idea of J6ers being domestic terrorists. That's bull hockey. I won't say any other words on here because I don't typically say them anyway, but you can use whatever word you want to. It's bull hockey. He didn't do that and isn't doing that. He and Boone Cutler are heroes of ours, and they are literally, their whole goal is to unify true Americans who love this country, love God, love, everybody. Some people have different religions, whatever, who love this country, who love our Constitution, who love our Bill of Rights, and who are standing up against the deep state cabal. And I'm mad. I might not sound mad. When I get mad, I go back and watch myself and I'm like, I feel really mad, but I sound really nice. So I'm mad right now. This is Mel being mad. I'm not being all sing-songy and nice. I'm mad right now. This is my mad voice. And I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at anyone who's believing this narrative. I am going to bring hopefully some different thoughts for those who are believing this crock, that Michael Flynn is in any way, shape, or form eh, anything other than who he actually is. And that is absolutely a hero in this country and to each one of us. So that is my opening statement about Michael T. Flynn, and also anyone associated with him, Boone Cutler, everybody else associated with him. I'm very, very proud to be associated with them. and to be known, and for them to be known among us. They are part of our tribe. So, where do I start? Let's start here. I am going to show a few clips. I'm going to share screen with you on just a few of the clips that he's been in on some different podcasts. I'd like to start with the one where he was with our esteemed Greg Phillips, and absolutely love, love the interview that Greg did together. Hold on just a second. I'm hearing a really loud noise, and I hope you're not. Hold on. Okay, I hope you weren't hearing that. I hope that was just me. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to share screen with you, and we're going to play a little bit of a clip from the interview with Greg Phillips, between Greg Phillips and Michael T. Flynn. Ready? Listen up.
They now it's like, wow. And in the last couple of years, and this is what's really encouraging, and I'm talking hundreds of young people, of older people that are now in these independent podcasting and independent media outlets that are popping up all over the country, and frankly have international audiences. You're one of them. You're one with not only a national audience but an international audience, and that's a good thing because those voices are strong. They're very patriotic. They're very pro-freedom, pro-American. And it is about really continuing with this, because this is really the essence of who we are as a country. We are an experiment in democracy, according to our own founders. And this experiment is defined as a constitutional republic. And I think it was like Federalist Paper number 10, Hamilton talked about, he was defined democracy. And democracy is really not what we are, because a true democracy, is really a form of tyranny. Right. In disguise.
The mob rule, right?
And then, yeah, that's right. And then I think it was later on, I don't know, I forget which Federalist paper, but it's like 39 or something like that, where Hamilton talking about the republic and forming this constitutional republic where we have representatives that go and represent us in our government institutions, whether it's local, state, or federal level. And I think that people need to really reflect on that, because, when we say, or we hear, you, Greg, are a danger to democracy, right? Something is a danger to democracy. Well, you know what? I kind of look at that and I say, okay, as I heard the big media say that repeatedly over and over and over, like they beat it into our head again, ways to apply mass psychosis on a population where a lot of people go, oh yeah, Greg Phillips and Mike Flynn are dangers to democracy. We're not dangers to democracy. We're protectors of the republic.
Indeed.
And that to me is when we talk about truth and we bring light to truth, and that's what hurts sometimes, because I always say the truth fears no enemies, and the truth hurts, right? And we've always heard that, and it hurts in relationships, it hurts in business. It hurts on the battlefield in warfare. The truth hurts. We're out of ammo, men, and now fix bayonets. So, Joshua Chamberlain, very famous on the Battle of Gettysburg, right? He looked around and he was like, hey, the truth is, if we don't fix bayonets and charge down this hill, we're gonna lose. But a guy like Chamberlain, he knew the strategic consequence of giving up the line on the left side of the entire. In that case, the entire formation. And if he gave up that line, then the entire Southern Army at the time would come around the backside of the Northern Army, and and our lives would be different. So there's times in history, and we're in one of those. Okay, we're in one of those. There's times in history where we have to understand this moment, and this moment is. I actually feel blessed. I feel so blessed to be alive.
Me too.
Because I just do. And I am, our relationship, and for the people, your audience, I mean, we never knew each other prior to, the previous years. All of these new relationships are springing up because as you and I are trying to pull maybe the greater body through that valley, because we know how to get to the light. we're pulling them through, we want people to understand and to reflect on that this is a moment in history where we have to come out of it, and we're going to come out of it, and we're going to head toward the light. And our adversaries fear what they cannot control, and they can't control the mass of humanity in the United States of America that is choosing faith and freedom and their families over this globalist, atheistic, elite, corporate wokeness that is trying to be imposed on all of us. And I think that as we go into this particular year, we're obviously wrapping up the first month of 2023 here this week. As we go into this year, I think we need to understand, and we need to be aware of that we are going to face even greater transitions as we go forward. And I think that we address as much as we can for people to understand in this book, to be able to get people to again, where do I stand? Where am I in that valley? Where am I in this moment in the history of the United States of America? Because everybody right now has a role, and some are going to have greater roles because of their platforms, but everybody has a role to play because we have a future to protect, not only for ourselves while we remain alive on this earth, but also for our children and our grandchildren, and obviously the future generations of Americans.
These people have proven.
Tell me that this I absolutely love that interview, and I would love for you to watch all of it. That was back in, I think, January, February with Greg Phillips. Go look that up. It was absolutely beautiful, and I wish I could play the whole thing. I don't have time to play all of it, but these men go back and forth and talk about the freedom, how to save our country, how to, walk with the Lord through all of this, and how to help each one of us out here, just little people. And I don't mean little people in a negative way, but you know what I mean, just us normal citizens. These are men with huge platforms, and all they care about is loving well, educating us, taking care of this country. And this man is brilliant. I mean, look at how he's served and where he served. Look what he's been through. And what does he want to do? He wants to equip us. He wants to help us to understand how to take this country back, which is also what I want to do. I'm like this big, and I'm a little tiny speck compared to General Flynn, but you know what? I've picked up the same mantle that he has, just on a much smaller scale. But anybody that I can reach, I'm happy to. And you too. You all have, like what he's saying, we all have a platform, that he's literally empowering you and me to say we all have a platform to get away from this deep state cabal. And then we have people out there that call themselves patriots. And yes, they're patriots, but sometimes I just want to go, are you really? Are you really a patriot? What's your motivation right here and right now? For shilling against people who are absolutely supporting America and trying to save it from the deep state cabal. It's absolutely maddening to me. I want to read something for you. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about critical thinking, and this is something we have to get better at. I think this is one of the greatest things that we need to learn as Americans across the board, because we've been so used to mainstream media. We've been so used to just numbing and checking out, go to work, go to kids' soccer game, go to grandkids' stuff, go home, have dinner, go to sleep, or watch a movie, stay up all night watching Netflix, get up, start all over again. Oh, go out to Amazon, buy something. Oh, I'm out of something, have it delivered to my door. Oh, new game. Let me play my game while I, let me get on my little AI here in my hand. And while they tell me what all it is that I need to know for my life, and I numb out and go, oh, shiny object. That's cool. I'll click on that. Sure, I'll buy that because you suggested it to me, phone. While we are numb, while we are sitting here just numbing, and we're not doing any research of our own, we're not actually going and putting critical thinking to what's happening around us. We're just letting the system just take us, roll down the hill. We're just rolling down the hill with it because we've become fat and lazy. And I mean that, more verbally, it's actually fat and actually lazy, but mentally we've become fat and lazy. We've become drunk with a cushiony life. We've become drunk with basically being pampered, and I am sometimes too. I mean, every morning I have to have a cup of coffee. Like, that's my little. But it's okay to have some pleasures, but I'm also saying, how spoiled are we? Can I give up a cup of coffee if I need to? I don't know. That's terrible. That's pathetic. I'm going to say yes, I can. I absolutely can. How about you? What is it that we're doing that we need to look at our lives and say, yeah, I've really let this sneak in. I told you yesterday on the podcast about a game that I was playing all the time on my phone, prior to Dropbox season, prior to getting called up into really feeling like I became a warrior one day. I was just activated into this and like, hey, it's time to go save America. Before that, I was that person. I guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. And I think a lot of us out here, because we're from Twitter and True Social and we're all in the middle of this war, we're waking up and we realize, but how many people are so still, look at your life, even though you are down the rabbit hole with me, even though we know what's going on around us, how much of our life is still, are we just taking what people tell us and believing it, even in this movement? And clearly, the reason that I'm angry right now and the reason that I'm having this conversation is because there are plenty of people who are, first of all, leading people astray and also buying into the rest of us who are believing it. I want to equip us with some critical thinking and some help. There's a definition that I want to read to you. So I have a lot of training, a lot, not only, on the job training, which is not the best part, on the job training, but then also scholastic training in all things psychological warfare. Now, not all things, not on a military level, but on a human, mental, emotional level. I understand a great deal. I've got a DSM-5 sitting on my coffee table. Those are not cheap books. I didn't buy that for fun. I, have the schooling and I understand a lot of different things. Narcissism, the difference between a narcissist, a psychopath, a sociopath, Machiavellian. I know the differences in these. I have training in trauma, and I understand how people are trauma bound. I understand the Stockholm syndrome. I understand a lot of these things. So I've been trying to take a microscope and figure out, what aspects of mental malaise is really attacking our patriot movement. I mean, we understand what's coming at us from out here. We're all on that same page. We understand the global cabal. We understand, the Soroses of the world, the Schwabs, Yuval Harari, if you don't know who he is. Oof. We understand the Bill Gates and that California is basically, and Michigan and Pennsylvania are basically communist. We understand all of that. We're all on the same page. I doubt there's anybody listening to the sound of my voice that isn't in that complete understanding with me. But where we are not in the complete understanding, I feel that we could do better is understanding that when we are reading our own people's stuff, people that are on this side of that war, are we applying the same critical thinking? Are we applying that same microscope to the things that we take in? I'm responsible for me. I'm not responsible for you. If I say something to you that steers you, uh, two things. First of all, I've got to be responsible with this microphone. I've got to be responsible with how I present to you and make sure that I'm not manipulating you, that I'm not trying to coerce you or steer you, or that I'm not operating in any of the many different mental and emotional ways to manipulate a person. I was that woman. I was completely manipulated and completely steerable and completely codependent and completely turned into basically someone else's robot. This was decades ago. And then I learned and I figured it all out. And now I'm kind of an expert in it. I'm a self-proclaimed expert, but I mean, I'm also have gone through school for all of this. So there's a part of that that's actually real. I'm a little bit of an expert in this. Uh, and I've helped a lot of people through this type of manipulation and through mental and emotional abuse. And so when I come to you and say that, I'm not saying this just like some fly by night who like I'm just poking around and hoping that I get it right. No, I have some actual schooling and training in this. So when I'm telling you this, what I'm saying about that is also don't just take that and go, okay, I'm going to believe everything she says. No, that's exactly the opposite of my point. My point is I am wanting to train you and help you to understand that when you hear anyone speak, you need to have some things that you go through a checklist in your mind. First of all, do you already know, like, and trust this person? Okay, that's good. However, that's not everything because you can know, like, and trust people who are manipulating you. So, and I mean, honestly, really the only people that can manipulate you are people that you've become vulnerable to and allowed to have a voice into your life. Somebody who's a stranger and says something to you, it's easy to brush them off. It's the people that are closest to you that you've become vulnerable to you that you say, I am allowing this person to speak into my life and help me form thoughts and have gotten close to me enough, either whether it's mentally, emotionally, and physically, whatever way, that I've given them a pathway to influence me. And I think we need to do a checkup once in a while on that. So I want to read to you. There are 12 different basic emotional manipulations of a narcissist, and not just a narcissist, but psychopaths, sociopaths, all these people use the same one. But I'm going to read this one to you, and it's called baiting, baiting. And I'm just going to read to you the definition as given to me by Google because it's actually pretty sound. It says baiting is a type of psychological or emotional manipulation. Someone who baits you manipulates your emotions by saying or doing something they know will upset you. If you lose your cool and respond out of anger, they have the upper hand. Now what you're kind of hearing is it's like something between the two of you. I'm gonna say something to you that emotionally baits you, upsets you, and now you lose your emotion, like you bite that apple, you allow it to change your emotions and to become angry, and now I've got the upper hand over you. This is also true. I can manipulate you, or you can manipulate me by saying or doing something that I know will upset you about someone else and cause you to bite that apple and get angry at that other person. That's what's going on with General Flynn right now. There is a lot of baiting going on, and it is an emotional, mental, psychological abuse, a form of abuse. It's very subtle. And that's the thing about mental and emotional abuse. It's subtle. It's very, very subtle. So you have to understand it. And that's where critical thinking comes in. That's where getting some education on these things really helps all of us to be wiser, right? This is wisdom and maturity and understanding our emotions, having emotional maturity, emotional intelligence. It's called emotional intelligence. It's an actual term. So, what's going on right now in the world of the patriot space is that there are some people who are pulling on your emotions. I mean, tell me it's not true. Go look at and listen to the people who are trying to pull you against Flynn and tell me how much emotion is going into either their podcasts or their words that they're typing out. Tell me that there's not an emotional pull. Now, if someone was saying, "Hey, I've got some facts about General Flynn, and here it is, and here's the research, and da da da," and there's no emotion in it, and they're actually taking you down, and you've got facts in front of you. Oh, yep, got the facts right here, unemotional. Okay, I'd pay more attention to that. But somebody who's steering you emotionally and triggering your emotions is messing with you. Anybody who can get you to emotionally reach out with and respond emotionally respond to anything, you need to stop and check it. Wait, my emotions just got engaged. Therefore, I'm probably going to believe it. Remember what I said yesterday? If you got logic and emotion, you've got these two standing next to each other, emotion will win every time because emotion is just much more powerful than logic. I know I'm not a smoker, but let's say I were. I know logically I shouldn't smoke this cigarette, but emotionally I really want it. You know, I know logically that I shouldn't stay with this abuser, but emotionally, I'm afraid to leave because I don't know what's on the other, fear of the unknown. Hey, at least there's some familiarity here, and at least I can calculate what's going on with this person. Emotionally, I'm going to stay with this person because my logic is not as powerful as my emotion. So please, if you are listening to anyone is speaking into your life that is pushing on you emotionally, giving you emotional things to grab a hold of, be very leery of that. There shouldn't be emotion. Now I'm angry right now, but I'm not like, you better. No, I'm angry. I'm angry right now, but I hopefully I'm not pulling on you emotionally. And if I am, stop and check. How do you feel? I can be emotional and express to you how I feel emotionally, but it's your responsibility to have some emotional maturity and say, nah, I'm going to make up my own mind. I'm not going to like or dislike somebody over here because Mel said it. That's where we get off. That's where we get off the hook. I wanna go down some other paths here too. I'm gonna play some more, but there's something else I want to play. This whole idea about the J6 stuff. There were a lot of good people, and there were some bad people at J6. Clearly, we know, but we as American onlookers watching, unless we were there personally, unless I was one of the people there and I know whether I was good or bad or not, or whether I've fully researched someone or something. I mean, obviously, Ray Epps is now pretty well researched. We understand that he was not good, and we all of us have that picture. There are some other people that were at J6, so we really don't know for sure. We don't 100% know why they were there. We don't 100% know if it was good or bad. And so for us to make a decision about that based on any emotional pulling or anybody telling us what the narrative is. This is the narrative, therefore it's true. Is very, very careless of anyone doing that, number one. And number two, is also irresponsible on our part if we just lock, stock, and barrel believe that. So there's one person in particular, I'm going to play this for an example. One person in particular, we're about to dispel why he was at J6, and this is Boone Cutler bringing that up. And he will be on the show for book number 2 coming up. But I'm going to play this little clip of someone asking him a question. I won't say who. There's a person asking him a question and him answering it. So Boone Cutler was at J6. Okay. You know what? I have friends that were at J6 too. So just FYI. And you might too. But let's play this real quick and then we'll come right back. I want you to hear this.
I was surfing around on the internet a couple of months ago and I stumbled across these photos. And I swear, Boone, it looks exactly like you. Question, were you wearing an earpiece at January 6th or was that just a psyop?
No, it's 100% true. I am Woodland Norris. That's what they pegged me as for a name.
Okay. Yeah, I saw them months ago and I wasn't sure and I figure I might as well.
No, that's me. I was down the street when January 6th happened at an event. I was doing a security detail and my principal said, "Hey, I want to go over there." That's why I was wearing the earpiece, because the whole detail had their own comms, and people, of course, made it something that it absolutely was not.
So I was surfing around on the internet.
So that just replays back if I don't turn it off in time. So Boone Cutler was at J6. Boone Cutler helped write this book right here with General Flynn and the book number 2 that's coming out. He was at J6 and he had an earpiece on. Why would he have an earpiece on? Well, because he does security details for people. And that day he was doing a security detail for someone, and that someone wanted to go there. So of course he's going to follow his principal there. Okay, boogeyman taken out of the picture, out of his own mouth. All right, we know this now. So there you go, straight from the horse's mouth. And also, we know the character of General Flynn, and General Flynn is not going to connect himself with someone like Boone Cutler if he's bad. So y'all have to decide for yourselves, but don't let anybody tell you. And I really appreciate that the person asked in a public forum about this so that it could just get it out of the way for people. I mean, that was lovely. There's like over 200 people listening. And so it was great. I mean, I wish I would have asked it first, just so I could say, yeah, why don't you get this out here for everybody? So there's no like boogeyman in the dark, people wondering. So now we don't have to wonder anymore. So that's really good. So I want to go on. And so y'all get my point about, we don't necessarily know, and we can't necessarily, we got to stop just going with what other people tell us and being emotionally steered and pulled. I want to play a couple of more things of General Flynn. Let me find the one that I wanted to do next. Let me make sure I've got it queued up here first. I have not ever heard of Matthew and Joyce Sayer, but this is a podcast that I really want to tune into because I haven't seen these people before, but they're about to talk to General Flynn. 1 second, let me find the right spot. Okay, let me share this screen with you. 1 second. Share screen. I'm doing better, you guys. I'm doing a lot better with all this, figuring it out a lot quicker. Those who've stayed with me the whole time and watched me, it's been kind of rocky, but we're getting there. Okay. Can y'all see that yet? Nope. Here we go. I would like to know these people. They sound pretty cool. Listen to this gal talk real quick.
Because courage is facing fear. And General Flynn has done that over and over and over again. But I have to tell one really quick story about the general before we get into the first clip. Is him and our son Matthew have become friends. Yes. And Matthew just adores the general. So we are at a Reawaken America tour event. And we had just finished the holiday season. Matthew had got a little military uniform and he wears it and he wants to say hi to the general and he wants to get his picture with the general. And so he goes over and the general takes him out on stage and they get their picture together, and I'll have producer Alex put this up for you guys to see. And And so they salute and they're up there and they do this whole thing. And the general looks over Matthew and he goes, "Are you going to be in the military when you grow up one day, son?" And he goes, "No, I'm going to be a pastor." What did the general say?
And the general's like, "Oh, you're going to be in God's army."
You're going to be in
And
God's army.
and then he looks at him and he's like, "Wow." He says, "I believe him too." Like, and so that was but General Flynn just laughed and laughed at that. That was hilarious.
Yeah. But he's constantly thinking about the next generation.
Yes.
How do I lead the next generation? How do I not only just protect them, but I help them to grow up and mature and become leaders? And we're going to share some clips right now with you from the cutting room floor of some of the ways that he's doing that.
Yeah, well, and I think this clip that we're going to show was just really his heart behind the tours and really getting out and connecting with people, because so many people poured into him and his family from all over the globe,
right?
And so but before we get into that, don't forget to like and share and subscribe and get this out there more, because more and more people just need to know who these people are. And one of the gifts that we have is that we have had access to some pretty amazing people behind the scenes. And so we just, want to go out there and, share what we know, that these people are human beings that put their pants on one leg at a time and have hearts and really are trying their best to provide a better place for all of us. So, but anyway, without further ado, we'll just get to the first clip. And kind of tell me a little bit about
Well, for me, one of the things I think, and we actually, we spoke and we met. One of the things that I wanted to do when all was said and done was we had been talking about this with my family for a while. I wanted to do a thank you tour around the country. Get in a bus, and just drive around the country, call up, whoever, churches, schools, people that we had met along the way, and just say, hey, we're coming into Albuquerque, or we're coming into wherever, Topeka, Idaho. I mean, a lot of people from all over the country. And we're going to show up, and we just want to say thanks to you guys and your families for helping us out, because we had people from all 50 states that reached out, and we had people from about 70 something, I think it was 72 countries that reached out. So we wanted to do a thank you tour. That was kind of internal to the Flynns, and just go around the country and, as fast as we could and just say thanks. So that was part of the conversation. And so then we got talking about everything else going on, the election audits and all the fighting that was, the sort of the legal battles, and we're under this, this crazy health tyranny that we are facing with COVID. And Clay has a huge brain, huge, he's got extraordinary energy. And so we kind of got to talk about, let's take this idea and let's go out to the American people, and let's talk to the American people about what we believe they were concerned about or are concerned about. And it's clear, because all of these events have been packed. They all get sold out, well ahead of time. They're live streamed. You got a documentary being written about. I mean, you got all these really courageous people that are super brave people that are losing their jobs, are losing their livelihoods. They're taking enormous risk, and they're fighting. They're fighting, and they're not fighting. The big theme with this stuff, the big theme is that they're not fighting necessarily for themselves. I mean, they're fighting for the country. Big picture, they're fighting for the country. And then you take it down a notch, and they're probably fighting for their families and fighting for their kids and grandkids, as I am.
Yeah, fight.
I love that so much. I mean, this is who these people are, and this is what people are coming against. They're literally helping us. Now, I'm going to tell you why they're coming after. I'm not afraid. Come at me. Seriously. I don't care. Let's talk about this. Some folks are mad because General Flynn came out and said he doesn't believe in Q or QAnon, or I don't remember if it was Q, or I don't remember how he said it. I watched it, I saw it, and I saw this wave of almost like betrayal among folks. Yo, let's take a breath. No one has told anybody that that first of all, Flynn has never come out and said, "Yes, I'm a believer in Q, and yes, I follow Q, and yes, I am Q," or "I know all the Q." He's never come out and said that. Also, he's allowed to believe what he wants to about Q. Also, he is a PSYOP general. I mean, he is absolutely part of understanding psychological warfare. Also, we don't tell everything we know, and I'm saying I don't know what he thinks. And it's also none of my business unless he wants to make it my business. And also, just because you do and he doesn't unvalidate you. It doesn't make your belief in Q, if you do believe in Q, it does not take all your value away. It doesn't minimize you or take something from you. Go ahead and believe in Q. Guess what? You have your own brain and your own decision-making process, and so does he. Him not believing in Q or saying he doesn't believe in Q or QAnon or however he worded it does not now make him an enemy. And that's exactly what I see has happened here because there's a large group of people who are absolutely fabulous and fascinating researchers. And God bless every one of you. And thank you for I mean, without you, I wouldn't be awake today. I'd still be a conservative. I'd still be a Christian. And I still would vote for whoever was the conservative Republican person on the ticket, straight ballot, no matter what. I held my nose the first time in 2016 and voted for Trump because I wanted all the people below him. I wanted the White House filled with his people, and I wanted there to be a conservative or at least a Republican in the White House. I certainly didn't want Hillary Clinton. But I didn't completely understand Trump until later, until I woke up in 2019 from the Fall of the Cabal series. And then, of course, Liz Crokin with the Shadows and all those things. But still, I was a good person and I love my country. And I held my nose and voted for Trump. And I encouraged other people to do the same. Okay, now I love Trump. But if it wasn't for you Q people and researching people, I wouldn't have gone down the rabbit hole and I wouldn't understand all that I understand now. Mel K is one of my biggest heroes. I tagged her, by the way, on Twitter to come watch this show. And if you're here, Mel, I love you. I'm gonna meet that woman someday, and we're gonna have a dual Mel show of some sort. Of course, I will defer to her greatness. She is Mel K, and I love her to pieces. I think she's amazing, and I heard her speak at the Reawaken tour. But I digress. Sorry, Mel. I got sidetracked there thinking about you. But here's the point. If it wasn't for you Q people, I wouldn't be all the way awake today. And that's true of many, many people. But there has been a slight taken because General Flynn said he doesn't believe in whatever. He might have, I don't remember if he said QAnon or Q. I think I heard him say he didn't believe in Q. Who cares? He is not now a PSYOP. He is not now an enemy of the state because he doesn't validate what you guys, all of you lovely women and men have done, or because he didn't come behind you and say, I believe in this. He believes in you as an American. He believes in you as a person. He believes in this country. But it was from that day on, I saw the very next day, same people coming at him and so disappointed and so much emotion, like, can't believe it. He's wrong. And there was so much. I wanted to throw up, honestly. It was so obviously disgustingly. Come on, y'all are adults. Not you. I'm not talking to you people. I love all of you listening. I'm talking to the people responsible for trying to pull people away from General Flynn. And I know that's nobody here. So please, as I'm angry, I'm not angry at you. Please know that. But come on, seriously. And then for the rest of us listening to that, are we just like, oh man, are we being pulled by that? I won't keep saying the same thing over and over, but that just makes me so upset. It really does. Let's see if I have another clip. Oh, I have one from Mel K. Hey, Mel. Let me just play. I want to play some from Mel K because, well, anytime General Flynn speaks, he kind of really just keeps sentence after sentence after sentence. So I have to find a good place to kind of stop because, he can just keep going. But everything he says is absolutely fascinating. But I got to put Mel K up because if there's anybody that I want to to give some kudos to for giving great interviews to our guy, Michael T. Flynn. It is her. So let me play a little bit of this for you. Love her. Love him. Two of my heroes. Here we go.
The vision for America is making sure our own house is in order. It's like any family. So any family member that listens to you, any child, any, an adult child, right? But anybody who is an adult out there says you can't go out and take on a new business endeavor. You can't go out and join something until you understand what is it that you can afford, right? What can you afford at home? What can you afford from your own home? Is your house in order? Do you have your documents in order? Do you have all of the little things that life revolves around, particularly at this time of year where we have children going back to school, right? Are your children ready to go to school? It's that simple. Are your children ready to go to school? And if your schools are terrible, I read a thing. So now, because now I'm talking about the tactics of the strategy of making America, and continuing to have America as the leader for at least the next 80 years because that's about as far as I can see when I think about a vision for this country. And I can define how is it that I can see that far into the future, because I can. And if you're a student of history and you understand the dynamics of how the world works and what the various adversaries and opponents that we are up against want, I can see another 80 years into the future. So, for example, the city of Detroit. Okay, so now I want to talk about another tactic, and that's education. Right. The city of Detroit probably spends $14,000 to $15,000 per head on each child. Yet they are like a third Detroit. They're like a third world education system in that city. And so all your viewers from Detroit, or all your viewers up there in Michigan, they're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. Of course. But that kind of figure and that direction that our education system has gone is why we are now talking about school boards on all of these, in all this political discourse around the country. And the left doesn't like that. I mean, the recent flipping of school boards just in a couple of states in these latest primaries, particularly in Florida. But I talked to one of the key leaders of Moms for America here recently. In fact, over the last couple of days, to just remind her about what she is all about. And she's about, this is Kimberly Fletcher, who's a terrific friend. This is about continuing the fight. I want to continue to shore her up and shore her organization up. They're going to attack her, okay? Because like I said earlier, they attack the person and not what it is that they're trying to achieve. So we've had somewhere between, let's just say, 200 and 225 school boards flipped in the country. So that's on the education side, because suddenly, tactically, moms and others and parents, let's say, have started to say, I better get involved in my child's education.
All right, tell me that man doesn't love our country. What? I can't even abide this. I cannot abide people. Here's calm down, Mel. Calm down. Okay. So my admonition to us little people who are subjected to these people with large accounts who sway people emotionally. How about me, you, all of us together, let's decide how we're going to go forward when listening to anyone who can influence us. We are going to step out from this day, and we've learned a lot. We are learning so much all the time. Sometimes I think we're overlearning, and we're like getting so almost gluttonous about what all we take in, and we need an outlet to get it out into maybe even just check out and do something else. Go get some exercise, go spend time in the real world and get off of these screens. We're addicted. I mean, I'm addicted. Boone was talking in a space the other night on Twitter. And it was a fabulous space. If you are on Twitter, go listen to it. As a matter of fact, it's the one that I covered yesterday for about 30 minutes. But, he talked about that. And if you want to go back and listen to yesterday's episode that I did, I cover this part in there where he's talking about we're addicted as adults. And can you, and I don't know if I covered this part, but can you put your phone down for 10 hours a day? Oh boy. He said, can you go put it in not turn it on, put it in a Faraday bag? I have the Faraday bag. I literally have a Faraday bag. This phone has not seen the inside of that Faraday bag since last August when I was at the pit. So that's my bad. It's sitting right here for me to use when I need to. So the challenge he gave us was, can you put your phone away into a Faraday bag for 10 hours a day and get unaddicted? Gonna work on that. I'll let you know, Boone. I'm going to get there. But at least, at night, my goodness, whatever our excuses are, oh, well, my kids might call me. Okay, we're going to come up with excuses all day long. But the point is unplug. And then when we come back and plug back into any of the shows that we enjoy watching or any of the people that we allow to speak into our lives, just because you allow someone to speak into your life, once or twice or 10 times or for a year, just have those tools we need to have our tools ready to go to say, yeah, I need to check that out and not just believe them because I've believed the last 20 things they said. There's some questions here. So Michael Flynn's brother was at J6. Does anybody really know why? I don't think so. I don't think anybody actually does. Has anyone come out and asked him like this young man did of Boone Cutler? Has anyone interviewed him and said, hey, why were you there? No, but there certainly are a lot of accusations flying around and taking the fact that he was there and who was filming whom, and therefore booga booga booga. Therefore, there's a monster in the room, and therefore General Flynn must be terrible. Are we really there? Have we still really not changed from when we were plugged into mainstream media? Because that sounds exactly like the same emotional response to what we've always done, just we're doing it inside of the Patriot space. It's really no different. So my encouragement to you, to all of us, to me, because I know I still have to check myself and make sure I'm not doing that too. I mean, I ran with some people before that I'm like, and I'm not speaking of Greg and Catherine. I adore them. You all know that I've run alongside them and they are my forever ride or die. I love Greg Phillips and I love Catherine Engelbrecht, and they need all the financial support we can give to them to help with the lawfare. You need to go watch her podcast on Monday night. She gives out great information. Anytime Greg appears on the scene, please listen to him. He is a true patriot, but also check for yourself. I'm not steering you to say, go believe everything they say. You check. And that's our emotional maturity that we've got to get to in this space. I think that was the last little clip that I wanted to play. There was a bunch of them, and I read to you about baiting. Let's see. Also, there's the idea of that you can plant ideas into someone's mind. That's another thing. What don't think about elephants. No, stop it. Don't think about elephants. Okay, no? Okay, stop it. Don't think about an elephant. I'm just planting an elephant in your mind. I mean, that's very elementary, and we've all heard that before, but someone planted, where was the very first seed planted into your mind that General Flynn is bad? Can you go back to the day that happened? And who was it? Who spoke that to you? Also, can you go, oh yeah, I see the hard evidence that person showed me, that 100% proof that this is the truth. I still think we live in a country that you are innocent until proven guilty. Number one, I also am pretty sure we don't have red flag laws. Not everywhere. Some places there are some. But guilty by association is still not guilty. There's a whole lot of things I could say to just absolutely stamp out this narrative. Also, think about what ways certain individuals have been personally slighted. Again, going back to the whole idea of the Q thing, I have great compassion for that. I'm Q affectionate. I'll say that. I'm Q fascinated. I'm not a researcher and I don't want to be. That's not my thing. And it might not be yours either. There are things about Q I go, oh, that's really cool. And then there are things I'm like, yeah, I don't care. And also that doesn't seem right to me. So many people have glommed onto, for example, military is the only way. It was said one time. One time. This was the one I dug on back at midterms because I was so tired of everybody going, "Where's the military? They said they were the only way. Q said they were the only way, and what happened?" And I went and I'm like, "Let me look at this. I wanna see this for myself. What is everybody talking about?" There is one post that says military is the only way. There are 22 complete posts about who is the only way and the way it's gonna happen. One is about the military. The majority of them, 17 of them, are about transparency. Transparency is the only way. 17 times. Okay, 17. I know I guess 17, maybe there's something to that. I don't know. 17 times. Transparency is the only way. Some of those, it's transparency and accountability are the only way. Some of them, there was a few different ones, but there was a total of 22. Only one of them was military is the only way. And yet there is entire theories built upon the military being the only way. If I can help debunk those, I will. And there's some people who can. And we're about to debunk 17th SCOG, and I are about to help y'all understand the whole corporation thing. And I have friends who 100% believe the corporation thing, and I'm not a researcher. But I think we might be able to, all of us together, you listening, coming into the room with us, having a conversation, if you'd like, let's talk about it. I think we found some things that might be interesting for all of you fantastic researchers who are, we're concerned about this corporation because I'm concerned about it. So, but I think we found some things. So I'd love to talk with you guys about it and we'll have a great conversation. And all of my friends are still my friends, right? And I get to think what I think and you get to think what you think. And that doesn't make us enemies. And I still love you, right? That's the point. That's the point. Anybody who tells you you don't believe what I do and therefore you're not allowed to be in my circle, that's a problem. Gatekeepers, that's a problem. If you have someone who says, "Hey, bro, I don't agree with you on this. What do you think? Can we look at this?" And they tell you, uh, you know, "Leave me alone. I don't want to talk to you again," or, um, "You're pathetic," or whatever it is that these people want to say to you, just because you're like, "Hey, you're my friend. Let's talk about this." And if that's the treatment that you get, okay, that's emotional bullying. That's bullying, and that's not really a maturity. So, all right, you guys get the point. I love you all so much, and I'm so glad you're here. I'm gonna look at the chat. What are you guys talking about over here? Let's see if there's any questions. If you have any questions, if you have any comments that you'd like me to say out loud on the show, and I find it appropriate and not inappropriate, I will be happy to. Um, let's see. I'm just gonna kind of read through some of these. Hello to everybody. Hi, there's MCAN, brownie points. Hi, Mel. Hi, thank you. Brownie points. You're sweet. Ara Burjoin, hello, hello. Good to see you. Grammy. Hi, Grammy. So glad you have been jumping back in. I missed you. Deranged Muppet. Eating the bugs. I love it. Hello, that's hilarious. Butterfly, my faithful true friend. So great. We got it. Butterfly, let me know in the chat. Can I tell them who you are and about your podcast? Like, let me know and I will. Unless you'd rather stay anonymous on here. It's up to you. Buckwood, hello, it's me. Emotional responses are generally driven by insecurity, 100% correct. And insecurity is driven by a lack of understanding of the truth and a lack of faith in the one truth. You are 100%. You and I are 100% agreement with on that, my friend. Absolutely. Thank you. Butterfly loves the podcast. Mel Squared show. When I was talking about Mel K and I being on a show, that is hilarious. I love that so much. That would be so much fun. I would love that. Butterfly, you love Flynn. Absolutely. So do I. Deranged Muppet. Hopefully there's still a lot more like him in high ranks of the military. Amen to that. Hat tip. Hello. Salute to Miss JQ ones. Oh, hey. Hi, Jay. Yeah, I was like JQ17. Of course I know who you are. Hello. Salute to you too, sir. Original Francis Marion. Very timely show, Mel. Ego. Edging God out. Oh, I love that. Edging God out. Ego. Huh. Hat tip to you, sir. Has raised its ugly head many times during these times. That's so true. Butterfly, I am Q curious. I like that too. I'm Q curious and I'm Q affectionate. I just go a little step further. I'm Q affectionate. Love that so much. Frank Westling, so much winning. Absolutely, sir. We are winning. Deranged Muppet. Q opened my eyes long ago. I love that so much, Strange Muppet. Spartan out said, but the only way is the the only way is the military. I know you don't think that. Yeah, I know you don't think that. Okay, so the butterfly says yes. Okay, so y'all, butterfly here in the chat. Her name is Lisa. And Lisa and my friend Kirk, these two powerful patriots, have it's called the America First Cafe. And yeah, okay. See, Spartan Altsoba is laughing because he does not believe the military is the only way. Butterfly is Lisa and Kirk, and they have this is so cute. They just started. It's awesome, and it's got a lot of levity in it. What I love about this podcast that they do, America First Cafe. Go out to Rumble, and you'll find it, America First Cafe. Am I saying that right, Lisa? If I'm wrong, correct me. But you got to go watch it. I mean, these two are cards. They're hilarious, and they also bring truth. And they're in commie California. And these people, I'll tell you what, California is not commie. I mean, it is, but it's also red. There are so many patriots in California, and all y'all need to combine up. And that's kind of been my heart and hope, is to do things. And by the way, these fabulous people have created a fantastic website, and I'm going to be ending up doing a whole entire podcast on it, because this podcast is available. I'm sorry, website. This website is available to you. We can actually get this website for you in your county as well. And we'll be talking about how we can do that. But please go out to AM1LA. Nope, it's spelled out. It's AmericaFirstLosAngeles.org. Check it out. These people, Lisa and her co-host Kirk built this thing, and oh my gosh, I can't even describe it right now, but we're going to do a whole podcast on it. But we can actually build one of these for you in your county if you'd like. And so we'll talk about that. All right, guys, I'm running up on an hour. Is anybody else saying any comments? Because I wanted to acknowledge anybody else. And if you had any comments about the show today, or about General Flynn, or anything, yes, our Bergeron is also in California. You need to connect. I need to connect you guys, for sure. Powerhouses right here, Butterfly and Arbor-John. I need to connect you, and I can do that offline. You're welcome. Thank you for being great guests and friends. I love all y'all so much. Anybody else? Any more comments? Hi, thank you so much for being here. Boone, I love you. I love all of you, and God bless you. God bless America. What is today? Thursday? May or may not be on tomorrow. We'll see. I'll let you know if I'm going to be on tomorrow, and for sure Monday. Now remember that Monday I'm going to 8 p.m. I'm trying to get that out everywhere, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, starting Monday. All right, guys. All right, love you guys so much. Check out my Venmo if you want to help keep me on air. That is Coach/Mel/show on Venmo, or you can go to giftsandgo.com, the Coach Mel Show. Help me out, buy me some coffee, buy me a day of electricity so we can keep us on air. All right, that's all. I love you folks so much. See you later.